Hello once again. Welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. We say that every week, and each time we head into a different area that feels slightly different to the weeks that have gone in the past. But this time we're going a long way different. We're starting to use the energy fields that come from our origin that actually produce the reverse of what has been projected throughout the earth. As we move into those fields, we start to regenerate and feel solid about everything in our life, including our health, our well-being in every form, no matter what is happening around us. This is the form of magic and miracles that we bring to this earth. It's the total opposite to what we've been experiencing in the past. And so as you move forward, everything increases. But as everything increases, everything becomes lighter, easier and more automatic. So now we don't have to do all the hard work that we thought we had to do, because nature will take its course in the reverse manner to what it has in the past. The more you stay with something, the more it will either push you away or change or regenerate to match your field. We listen to many, many things, and we hear everybody saying things are changing. But nothing at all changes as much as what's within your own field. And it has nothing to do with what you're told. It has nothing to do with the past or the future. It's to do with the pattern that is weaving the future. Your unique pattern that you follow relentlessly without any deviation in a totally abnormal manner, non-linear, non-progressive sometimes, but in ways that suit your destiny. When we look at a tree, you can see the destiny of the small tree is to grow into a big tree. You're not sure what shape or how big or where it's going to go or whether it's got flowers, unless you can recognize it from a picture or from your experience. But the destiny of each moment is totally out of the normal. Branches can grow backwards, can grow inside out, can grow in wrong directions. Flowers can appear in places that are not supposed to appear. And so the individual moment or the individual experience in the world that everybody can share if they want is unique. But the overall destiny is for it to become a tree. So the overall destiny of us is to become a master in the field of our own entity. A master in every world that we create, in every world that we enter. But each step along the way is totally individual. It belongs to us, but it can be experienced by others if they wish. It can impress others. And in every way, it's out there for everyone to see. So every move that you make in your life, every forward, backward move, every blossom, every action is visible if someone wants to look. So the beauty of what you present to the world is individual in every moment. And the beauty of what you present to yourself is also a surprise. because you're not really sure of anything but your overall destiny, and that's to be a master of the field that you actually bring to this world. The elegance of everything appears every day in a different way. Just like nature. Today it's raining, yesterday it was hot. The wind blows, the trees move. The birds somehow disappear and are protected by something. We're really not sure how that happens because you can't find all the birds in the trees. They just somehow disappear. And quite often we wonder what that's all about. And it's all to do with dimensions. The dimensions that they can create also protect their being. The dimensions that we can create protect our being. But we don't think about it. We don't need to. Because as we move forward now, the less we do, the more will be generated. And to the outside world, it will look like you're that growing tree, getting bigger and bigger every minute. And to you, it doesn't look like that. It just feels like another little bit of growth. So as things accumulate, they do add. And they add much flavour to your life and to the lives of others. But you don't have to retain any of that. You don't have to have the picture of yourself from the outside. Everybody else sees that. Everybody else sees the beauty around you. You just have to maintain the growth. And the totally random existence of your life. There are many, many details that you can go through from science to technology to beyond. But if you live beyond technology, you will always have access to everything. You'll have access to what technology can prove. Either it will turn up in the form of a technology, or you'll just do it yourself. Or it will just appear. Or out of nowhere, you'll find things are turning up that you never thought could turn up. Or synchronicities keep happening and happening and happening, so that you are appearing in front of people and people are appearing in front of you that come from places that you would never ever imagine you would connect to. People from other sides of the world find one another. The more we progress, the more this will happen. The beings that came to Earth are scattered all over the Earth. And they don't have to come together. They are together. And they will communicate from time to time and not even know their origin. But they will know they come from a very similar place. Or they have a connection that we've never thought of. A real feeling that is unique to that person or persons. But remember, you're not connected directly or physically or even spiritually. You're connected through your interaction in your own field and how that field interacts with theirs. There is no solid connection with anyone. This is really important because nobody has ever been freer than they are now. And it's because the things that they thought connected them are disappearing. Out of nowhere, what was in the past called a hook suddenly doesn't exist. Because that side of our being is no longer active. we walked out of that and we walked into the source that comes from our origin. And none of us can say where that is, even though it might be in the same place. It's like asking, where's the origin of a drop of water? It could be the ocean. But what part of the ocean? Many, many miles. How deep? How big is the sample? What's it connected to? It's the same with each one of us. Our influence in the overall field makes the overall field easy to live in. And that's how it affects one another. That's how we increase our ability to generate miracles, to generate something from nothing. We used to have a formula for everything. We used to have a situation where if you didn't put something in, you wouldn't get anything out. We now have the less you put in, the more you get out. This is the program called simplicity. So the simpler it is, the better it works. And we've always known that, but we've never actually put it as the operating system for our life. So now, as we move forward in that area, you'll find there'll be a lot of new, exciting things come into everybody's world. A lot of major breakthroughs in science. And when you look at them, it'll reinforce something special inside you. But they're not there for you to follow. You resonate with them for a fraction of a second, and then you find in your life, or in your book of life, what part of that index it's taken you to. What new chapter is it opening for you? And you read that chapter and you go with that destined chapter of your life that was initialized by some, it may even be interference, but some influence that's come from new developments. There will be lots of scientific developments where people will encourage you to go with them. Follow alongside, watch, listen, be intrigued, enjoy yourself. Stay simple and watch what comes out of it for you. Don't work at it. Work if you enjoy. And you'll be amazed at how this entity that's rising up around us all will start to support your life. It'll start to recognize your mastery at what you are supposed to be a master at. Even if that's not listed in the job lists of the world. It'll be recognized, and by some means or another, it will take you to where you'll be fully supported. Not in a way that you can sit down now and list. Not in any specific sequence, but in many, many little things that build to indicate to you you're really generating something special. We've spoken about many things, and right now it's at the point where you can forget them all. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody. Just sit there and see which pages of your book start to open. See how your driver's manual is laid out. As the words come, you'll get a different feeling to everybody else. because you're looking at your book, at your destiny. And all our conversations do is start to highlight different parts of the index so that you can, at your leisure, sit and experience what's in your own book and know there is nothing that influences you, only gives you a little bit of a lead to what you can look at in your life. So even when we build things from plasma, the wands, the beacons, they're to give you the familiarity of the feeling that you know is a chapter in your life. To open your book of how you use it. And eventually, how to further develop it or not develop it. But just do it yourself. Because everything that we bring forward was designed by us. Everything that we've always had is starting to appear in this world. Things that we thought were so technical, the children come in and just use them as if they're natural. And you don't have to show them anything. And they're quite willing to break them because we made a version that's not strong enough. To improve our development of the copy of what we already know we have. So from here, we have so much ahead that you couldn't really list what we've experienced in our life to date, we'll experience in the next year again. The whole part of your life you've experienced will fit into next year. And it'll all be new. And then it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the only way that can happen is because we've found out that the rule of what you put in is what you get out no longer applies. We've found that you can generate 1 trillion times what you need and then go around and try and experience it all. Or you can make it so that it just appears in everybody's world that you know, so they can have a good time. There are so many ways. Each one of you are going to show us your way. And it'll continue every day. And even when you feel you're not doing it right, there'll be a sense of wonder of what you're looking at. And so you'll just quieten down and look into nowhere until all of a sudden it all comes alive. And you'll know exactly what you're looking at. And you'll know it has no relativity to right or wrong. It only has relativity to the fact that you sometimes generate major light and sometimes you generate a subtle, soft light. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's glary. Other times it sparkles. And if you can watch what comes from you, you won't try to control it. Because that's your show. That's what you're showing to the world. It's what you're showing to yourself. And it's unique every day. And its brilliance is what people look at. It's why they can look you in the face and they don't see your face. They see you and your sparkle, and they see what's generated from somebody that they thought was just ordinary. And it brings a smile to their face, and it starts their engine. So all our interaction is the same as what I've been talking about. The slightest interaction with one person grows into a major interaction between millions. Like a little bit of dye in the water spreads right through the water and gives it colour. And there's no way you can take it back. So everything you feed out into the world is there, and it's endless. And that's how it grows. It grows on top of one another. It grows in conjunction with one another. It brings energies to light that we never thought were here. And at times when we need something to engulf us and surround us and keep us safe, it does that as well. So every time we mention the possibility of something new, you are able to actually go and have a look and see if that possibility was actually a reality in your book of life. And that's the interesting part. You will find it, and you will do it different to everyone else. And you will decide through a means that is not your brain that it is a priority, or it's just a neat trick that you've been involved in over many years. So right now, the entity that we're all part of, that is basically the universal field and its interaction with the world that we decided to have, is now becoming very active and very powerful. So the moment you have totally seen the part in your book of life that is interesting for the next second, it goes out to everyone, and it's totally supported, and it's locked in just like a drop of dye. And you don't have to put any more in, because you'll just make it too intense, and somebody else will have to come and compensate. So the exact amount is done the first time, and that feeling of excitement that goes out everywhere is felt by everyone, even though they don't know what it is. But they'll feel the beauty of it, and they'll see the colour. They'll see the interaction. They'll feel their heart lift. And all the load of not knowing what's going on in the world just disappears. Because you have a beautiful atmosphere of energies, of energy fields, of universal fields, of life force, of all those things we've described in the past, all there at the one time, swirling around. And if it's not swirling around, you just disturb the moment and watch it come clear. So look like looking at a pool, and there's something floating on the top. You can just give it a little swirl and you can see right into the pool. And this is what happens when you disturb a moment. You can see past what's been sitting in front of you. And there's no method. Everybody knows how to disturb the moment. Just go and ask a young child. 100% of their time disturb the moment. And you think they're taking over your life. No, they're disturbing your moments until you do the same. And if you're game enough to stir up every moment of your life, you'll never be bored. You'll never wonder what you're doing next. And you'll never say, I don't know where I'm going. Because you'll be going all the time. And you'll have the energy for it. And the youth will come back to you simply because you dare to stir up the moment. And this is what we're doing as we speak to you. We're daring to stir up the moments and talk about things that probably everybody knows, but nobody really openly talks about. So as we move towards getting into this year, you can look back and see that it was just like yesterday was Christmas, and now it's the end of the month. So the time factor has changed. But when you look forward, you haven't yet got to the point where you can say, well, in the blink of an eye, I'm at the end of next month. But it won't be long before you can. And then the blink of an eye, you're back where you are. And know exactly where you're going, but not how you're going to get there. This is a skill that each one of you have. And once you can do that, and you can see that you know where you're going, and you're quite willing to go there through any path that's available, even if it means going backwards for a while, you'll have a smile on your face and you'll just keep stirring up the moments and saying, well, what's next? What's next? What's next? Knowing that you're going to go to where you projected yourself to have a look. Sounds strange now, but so did a lot of things that we're doing. Everything we're doing now sounded strange a year ago. Everything that we're feeling now sounded impossible. That's why we did it. So the impossible that we see now is the mundane that we see in the future. So let's stay with that, and we'll take a little break and come back and talk about some more stuff. What it'll be, I don't know, but we'll find out. See you in about 5 minutes. So welcome back. Once again, we find ourselves living on that elevated platform that's way above everything that we used to know. And the more we realize that we're actually elevating ourselves, the more everything around us will come to meet our level of activity. If we try to explain what that is, it won't work. If you just live it, and you have whatever picture you like, or you just say every now and then, wow, it's great on this elevated platform of living, you'll feel yourself suddenly elevate. And everything will come into your field that's specifically yours. Why I mention this is because so much flow is about to happen. You need to be where the postman knows your address, where the energy fields know where to gravitate to. Your field can attract everything to you if you're not sitting in the mud with everybody else's. So as you elevate on your platform of living, everything will move towards you that belongs to you, and there'll be no confusion and no reason to be confused or mixed up or have an opinion or decipher or any of those obnoxious things that we grab hold of to destroy whatever belongs to us. Even someone saying, I don't understand, is enough to tell you they're not coming into your field or you're not in theirs. And you don't have to understand. Nobody has to understand. Everything in your field is to do with you, and if it interacts in the correct way to somebody else's field, they will understand because it's their field. And they're only reading the interaction. When you try to do a direct communication with someone at their level, you can find it doesn't work. More so now than ever before. So you have to maintain totally your field so that your field can correctly interact with their field so they can get the message that they're happy with. And you will find that you do not have an opinion. And they won't either. And if they're supposed to get the message in a different way to what you intended, that's got nothing to do with you. That's how it's meant to be. It's just like pouring water into a cup. Whatever's in the cup will get flooded by the water. But the type of interaction, once you decide to pour the water in the cup, you can't be concerned about because you have no control over it. As you interact in somebody else's field, you can't determine what's going to happen. If what was in the cup was intelligent and it didn't want that interaction, it would be out of the cup before the water hit it. And that's what happens with a fly. If there's a fly in the cup and you pour hot water in, it's out of there before the water hits the bottom. Your energetic fields are much faster than anything you know. They're faster than instant. They'll actually get there before time. So know that there's no mistake. As long as you're on that elevated platform of living, the communication is perfect, and you do not have to worry about whether it's right, wrong, or otherwise. So you'll start to feel a freedom in the fact that you do not have to check what's coming out of your mouth. Half of our energy in our life is taken up by politically correct words. As you stay in the higher realms of the earthly field, not the higher realms of the spiritual field, the higher realms of the earthly field, where everything's running perfectly, you don't ever say the wrong thing. And even if it's the wrong word in somebody else's mind, it won't come to them that way. Or they won't hear that word, or it'll just drift into nowhere. So know that you're totally in a place where everything runs perfectly, including you. And so you can get out of the road, allow yourself to run freely, and never be concerned, because it always works right. The only thing that works wrong is when you go down off the platform of living into the platform of thought. And then you're finished. You've just climbed underneath the trampoline. Every time you go to get up, it'll smack you on the ground. Easy to fix. As soon as you feel it, you just backflip out of it and you're on top. A simple statement of, wow, it's great up here, every now and then will keep you there forever. You will never, ever get under the trampoline. And if you happen to get down, you just got to relax and it shoots you back up again. So I mention these things every now and then because as we move into the area where there's more flow, we will initially feel overwhelmed because you're getting more than you asked for. You're getting more than you feel you deserve. And you're also getting more that you don't think you want. So that's, to a habitual human being, can be a little overwhelming. And you think like, wow, I'm going to overload, or I'm going to explode or implode or fall apart or something. And in fact, you feel a vibration in your body that you think is abnormal. And you start to think, oh, there's something wrong with me. Or, wow, I had too much to drink last night. But in fact, when you do all the right things, the vibration increases. This vibration is your own engine running. It's what you use to keep that special part of you alive that runs on nothing. And so even if you've got a part of your body that's feeling like it's not so good, you can just move the focus of that vibration to that point, and I'll guarantee within a few minutes you'll forget about it. You'll have no idea that it was there. This is the natural improvement, the natural reversal from deterioration to growth. This part of our cycle is like the spring in the earth cycle. We're starting to make new things, to be new, to generate new feelings, to show ourselves in different ways, to flower and blossom in all sorts of ways. So you will feel a little strange at times. So if you need to panic, go and celebrate. It will change everything. Do the most abnormal thing. Go and have cake for breakfast, or a little champagne or something, anything that's out of the ordinary for yourself, and you watch what happens. You're back on top, you've forgotten it all, and you love the fact that you get more than what you asked for. It's going to take some time to get used to the fact that you'll never get used to it. Because if you get used to it, it's not going forward. So after a while, you'll think, I was right. I was falling to pieces. But I'm still falling to pieces. So something strange is happening that I've never, ever experienced before. And that's what's going to happen to everyone. You won't know what to do with yourself at times. So it's easy. Throw some sparkles around, do something stupid, and wow, we've just got a great flock of birds came past. Hundreds of them. Yeah, and see, disturb every moment. If you don't, something else will. So when we look at the things we do in life, we're wasting our time. We just have to follow our spirit, and we'll be doing things that we don't look at. We just keep generating and regenerating and regenerating, and all the past and all the analysis and all the possibilities and just all of a sudden are not interesting. Because what's interesting is in front of you. What's interesting is there in the world that you can't see, but you stir the moment up and it's there. Every little bit comes to life, every little feeling. And you say to yourself, well, I can't feel like this all the time. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I can assure you, you feel like you're on the greatest drugs all the time. And you don't do anything except stir the moment and be there. And chase that spirit no matter where it goes. And watch, when you look in the mirror, at the number of different people that are inside of you. Changing all the time. All playing games, all like little children. And then you'll start to see you're not just one person. You're not just one being. You're not just one spark. You're multiple sparkles, just like Tinkerbell. And all the actions that come from all those dimensions are starting to appear in your world now. So the character that comes from this sparkle that's here is starting to appear in the world, just like this one. And the hologram is coming together, and you feel the energy of it as each one switches on. And then you know you can show all this in your physical body, as long as you're willing to turn on every dimension and let them project who's there, what's there, and not care about whether you can prove anything. And your body will sparkle day and night. Your dreams will become much more vivid because you're suddenly living one of those lives. And you wake up and it'll be like, I was there. I know I was there. I can tell you every detail. And it's not a case of just a dream. It's you are starting to allow all the facets of yourself to be available in this world. And it's great fun, particularly when you can sit and tell the story of what you did when you thought you were asleep. And sometime later you find out that it actually happened. And that's happened to many of us. And we thought we were predicting something or bringing up the past or past life or whatever, but it's happening now. It's just another aspect of what we're living. There's a few people that are experimenting with actually opening up dimensions in this world. And they're playing with stuff where they can disappear, where you can put your hand in a machine and you can't see your hand in a particular field. And they're playing with all these sorts of things. All this proves to me is that we can do it ourselves if we want to. If we want to build something to prove it, we can. But in fact, if you want to disappear, you can disappear. If you want to stand a little bit above the ground, you can. If you want to work in a dimension where there's no responsibility, you can. Everything beyond the imagination is available. If we need a physical thing to prove it, then we'll go with it, because you can see the proof. But when you live in that place where you've invited yourself into the world of your Creator, you've got to know that everything within creation is there. Everything beyond is there. And so you can use it all at any time you want, for whatever reason you want. And we came here to be masters at certain things. And we never know what it is. But every now and then we rise to the occasion and we change lives. Now we're going to that. It's not a point. We've passed the point thing and we're going now to expansion, where the more than impossible is available to us all the time. Our mastery is to have it in balance, to have it so that it's subtle, to have it so that it's mystical, so that our life's a mystery. But with a smile on our face, we know if we don't want you to see us, you won't. But without destroying anything and without risking lives, without having to have a machine that can make you disappear forever. You have the ability to come and go wherever you want, however you want, if you invite yourself into the world of your Creator. And that is your privilege. You don't have to ask. You never had to ask to go home to your own bedroom. So you don't have to ask to go to the world of your Creator. Invite yourself in there. Enjoy the fruits of your own being. And maintain that mystical balance that only you know. So that you can play with whatever you want, whenever you want. You can enjoy it and not have to prove it. And you can walk along and look like you're walking on the ground and know you're a foot above the ground. This allows you to get past having to prove that because somebody else didn't see it, it wasn't right. You don't have to prove that you feel good. Just feel good is great. No reason at all. You don't have to be alone, with anybody, outside, inside, anywhere. You can feel great. And it's not a frame of mind. In fact, if your mind comes into it, it will eventually find something wrong. It does that because its purpose is to search your body to find if anything's wrong and then repair it. You get in there and start to use that, it'll find something wrong. If not, it'll make it. So you never go into your mind. You just stay with being in the world of your Creator, living on magic and miracles, and looking like you're a hardworking mother, father, teenager, or whatever. That's the mystery of life. That's the brilliance that I see when I look at everyone. I see the being, that universal being, and I can talk to that universal being without really doing anything or even being there. So if I talk now and there's a person that needs to hear this in a year's time, it's being done now. And when they listen in a year's time, they'll say, great, that's the correct message for right now. Because we're not working with time. We're working with communication with everybody who needs the communication. And it's not the words. You can actually totally forget the words, but you'll never forget what's behind it. Because it doesn't go to your mind or your brain. It goes to that mystical being that's everywhere, knows everything, that's interacting with my field all the time, no matter where I am, and with everybody else's field, no matter where they are. So we've stepped past a lot of things, only to get further into it. And we get further into the interaction, and further into the movement, and further into stirring the moment, and further into life. And life is never ending, brilliant, colourful expose of who we are. So now we're getting close to the end. And I just wanted to say that everyone who has anything at all to project to the world, just do it. Leave nothing out. Don't make suggestions. Project the whole thing. How everything works, where it comes from doesn't matter. But you provide what you bring into this world, into your field. And it is like the growing tree with the blossoms. If someone wants to look, they'll take a photo, they'll love it, they'll paint it, they'll do everything they want with it. They won't tear it apart, if you're lucky. But if you can project everything that you know out into the field so that you can bring more through, speak it, write it, just see it. Just continue the flow so that that vibration that's within you doesn't stay still. And you watch what happens. I don't think I have to say much more. But the brilliance of everybody's being is about to be painted all over this world. Thank you so much, everyone. Look forward to seeing you again next week, and have a great time celebrating. Bye for now.